So Hell in a Cell 2019 just ended about 30 minutes ago. And honestly, I think that is the worst ending to a wrestling show I have ever seen in my entire life. I've been watching wrestling since SummerSlam 2007, and I have seen some of the most god-awful endings over the past 12 years, but I think that one right there takes the cake and is the worst of all of them. Let's start off with the fact that they were in Hell in the Cell, the match 20 years ago that saw The Undertaker throw Mankind off of the cell and then through the damn thing, not to mention the thumbtacks and the blood and all of that. But let's forget that for a second. I understand things are a lot tamer and safer and not as violent now, so okay, we won't compare it to that. But you build up Bray Wyatt as this destroyer, as the Fiend, and I love the Fiend. I do. I think it's a great character, it's different, and I've really enjoyed what they've done with the Fiend character. So, okay, Rollins is set to be destroyed. So the match is going decent enough. The red lighting was cool, though it made a couple things difficult to see. And then Rollins proceeds to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many, but I'm pretty sure it was at least around 15 curb stomps to try to put the Fiend down. And I think after the 14th or 15th, he got maybe a 2 count. Maybe the ref just hit for the second count. He might have not even got that far. So you just ruined the curb stomp if it wasn't ruined enough after Lesnar and Strowman the last 2 pay-per-views. So then Rollins is losing his mind, which I enjoyed that touch. You know, he cannot put the Fiend down. Okay, I enjoyed that touch. It's really showing a mortal side of Rollins, which I think has been lacking over the past couple of months, that he's been able to beat all these guys. So it's a nice little touch to the match. So he starts attacking the Fiend's head. Okay, cool. Little violent. Okay, it is Hell in a Cell after all. You know, the embodiment of hell in a match. Okay, cool. Then he, puts the ladder over his head. I think he stuck the chair in between the ladder, which made no sense, but whatever. He grabs a sledgehammer. Nice nod to Triple H. Well, they didn't reference it, but, you know, that's what I thought when I saw the sledgehammer come out. He hits the ladder, and the ref calls a DQ. Me and my dad were sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? You don't ring a bell for a DQ in Hell in a Cell. It's, like I said, the embodiment of hell in a match. That is what the Hell in a Cell is supposed to be. And the ref rings the bell for a disqualification for reasons. It was too violent. A Hell in the Cell was too violent, so the referee called the DQ. You know, I'll quickly give a little praise of the ending where Wyatt had the mandible claw on Rollins and he was coughing up blood. That was a cool visual, but nowhere near enough to cover up that absolutely god-awful, shitty ending of Hell in a Cell. You make Rollins look like a loser the entire match. Now, if Wyatt was set to win, okay, cool. But then you make Wyatt just be there. You know, he's what this whole thing has been built around, and this match ends on a DQ. Again, for reasons. I couldn't tell you why specifically, because it's not like the ref even checked on Wyatt. He hit the ladder with the sledgehammer, and the ref calls for the bell almost immediately. So it's not like he even checked on Wyatt. And that's it. That's the end of Hell in a Cell. That's the end of a pay-per-view. AEW just started Wednesday. You'd think they'd be putting more effort into pay-per-views than this crap. But then again, I guess this is the same company that just had a 6-month champion get destroyed in 9 seconds. I don't mean to come off as a complainer. It's just, this was so shit. Like I said, I've been watching wrestling for 12 years, and this was one of the most god-awful, terrible endings I have ever seen to a pay-per-view in my entire life. Where do you go now? The Fiend wants a rematch? How do you up the ante now? How do you go further with this? You know, it was inside Hell in a Cell. It was inside the devil's structure and, you know, all that other shit. And now it's been dragged down to a hardcore match that has limits. That's it. It didn't make sense to me. And overall, this show just went downhill from the start. Like, it started good and just went slowly downhill. And that ending just places it at an absolute god-awful show.